The forest was alive with shadows and whispers. The alien girl darted between thick, twisting vines, her limbs lithe and agile, moving with a grace that belonged to the wild itself. Her eyes glimmered in the dim light filtering through the canopy, scanning for danger. She had lived in this forest for years, unchallenged and unbothered until today. A trap snapped shut with a sharp clack, catching her by the ankle. Pain shot through her body, but more than that, fear took root in her chest. She had heard the stories of humans, creatures that could be merciless predators. She flailed, trying to free herself. But the cage held fast, and then she heard him. "Got you," a human voice called out, calm, almost casual, yet carrying a weight of authority. She froze, her heart hammering. Her mind raced through everything she knew of humans, hunters, scavengers, bet. She had no doubt what he might do once he found her. He would eat me. The thought was instinctive, primal, and the terror it sparked made her tremble. The human stepped into the clearing. He was taller than most of the alien males she had encountered, with broad shoulders and hands that seemed capable of bending nature itself. His face was rugged, scarred from countless encounters with the wild. But his eyes, those strange, pale eyes, did not hold cruelty. They were curious, measuring, careful. "Easy," he said, kneeling by the trap. "I'm not going to hurt you. Not like that." The alien girl narrowed her eyes. "Not like that." The words made no sense, but her instincts screamed otherwise. She twisted, trying to hide, to vanish into the foliage. But the trap restrained her. The human crouched lower, examining the mechanism. His fingers moved over the cage with a precision that suggested understanding, not violence. He muttered under his breath, pulling and adjusting until the bars shifted, loosening their grip. "You're not some wild beast to eat," he said softly. "I'm not a monster." The alien's ears flicked back, skeptical. She had survived in this forest by being cautious, by never trusting. Every human story she had ever heard ended with devouring or death. Yet something in his demeanor, in the way he worked to free her, made her hesitate. Finally, the trap clicked open. The bars fell away, and she stumbled free, clutching her injured leg. She watched him carefully, still unsure if this was a trick. I can walk," she said, her voice sharp, defensive. "I don't need your help." He shook his head, offering a hand. "You need a moment. You're hurt." She hesitated. Then, with a flick of her tail and a flash of movement, she accepted. Not out of trust, but out of necessity. As he guided her toward a safer clearing, she studied him. Humans were strange, unpredictable creatures, and this one was stranger than most. His smell was foreign, musky, earthy, but not entirely unpleasant. His warmth radiated in a way she couldn't define, and his presence seemed protective almost. Hours passed as he tended to her injury. He pulled water from a hidden spring, cleaned her wound, and wrapped it carefully with strips of cloth. All the while, she remained tense, expecting any moment that he would reveal his true nature. "You're not going to eat me," she demanded finally, her voice a mixture of accusation and fear. The human smiled, a small, crooked grin. "No, I eat food, not aliens, especially not ones that can outrun me." The alien blinked. That was unexpected. Most humans, she thought, would have devoured her without hesitation. And yet here he was, treating her wound, speaking gently. The fear in her chest didn't vanish, but it became something else: curiosity, cautious intrigue. Days passed. The human, whose name she learned was Yahaan, stayed nearby, helping her navigate the forest, showing her edible plants and safe paths. He never forced her, never reached out unless she allowed it. Slowly, she began to see him not as a predator, but as something different, a companion, maybe even a protector. And then, one night, the forest shifted. Creatures with jagged teeth and glowing eyes attacked, drawn by the scent of two living beings in close proximity. The alien girl froze, terror choking her throat. But Yahaan moved without hesitation, shielding her, fighting with precision and strength that seemed almost inhuman. After the attack, she stared at him in awe. His chest heaved, sweat and blood mingling with dirt and leaves. Yet he smiled at her. "You'll be fine. I've got you." Something inside her shifted. Fear and suspicion gave way to gratitude, and then to something far more dangerous: trust. She leaned against him, allowing the warmth of his body to soothe her in a way she hadn't known she needed. Days turned into weeks. They learned each other's rhythms, the alien girl showing him hidden groves and camouflaged creatures, him teaching her about traps, weapons, and survival tactics. They laughed, teased, and sometimes argued, but the bond between them grew undeniable. One evening, under a sky painted with stars, the alien girl finally spoke the words she had been avoiding. "Bye. I thought you would eat me. I've never trusted a human before." Yahaan looked at her, eyes soft in the starlight. "I'm not like the others. I'm different, and I never meant to trap you. It was an accident." Her tail twitched nervously. "But you didn't hurt me. You helped me, even when I was afraid." He reached for her hand, gentle but firm. "Fear is natural, but sometimes fear is meant to be faced. And sometimes the one you fear is the one who will save you." Her heart skipped a beat. She had never felt warmth like this from a human, never seen one move with such care. And when he leaned closer, the scent of him enveloping her, she felt something she didn't have words for. It began subtly. She would catch herself glancing at him when he wasn't looking. She noticed the curve of his jaw, the strength in his hands, the way his voice resonated with reassurance, and she realized that the fear she had felt when trapped was slowly being replaced by something else: desire. Yahaan seemed to notice too. His touches lingered, small but intimate, a hand on her back to steady her, fingers brushing hers when handing her water, a protective arm when night predators stirred. Each gesture was electric, sending shivers down her spine. One night a storm descended upon the forest. The wind howled, trees groaned, and the rain fell in relentless sheets. They huddled together under a rocky overhang, shivering and wet. The alien girl pressed herself against him for warmth, and this time there was no fear, only the thrum of connection. Yahaan held her close, whispering words she barely understood but felt with her entire being. In the storm's fury, the barrier between fear and trust, predator and prey, human and alien, dissolved. She surrendered to the moment, put to the safety of his arms, and to the strange, thrilling intimacy that neither of them had expected. By the time the storm passed, the alien girl had discovered something undeniable. She trusted him, not just with her life, but with herself. The fear that had once consumed her was gone, replaced by a fierce, protective band, an awareness that she had found something rare in a human, someone who would not devour her, but cherish her. The sun rose over the forest the next day, golden and tender. She watched Yahaan stretch and smile at her, a simple gesture that carried promises of protection, of companionship, of more than survival. And she knew, with a certainty that surprised her, that life with him, even in this strange, wild forest, would never be the same. She had feared him. She had expected to be prey. But instead, she had found something extraordinary, an ally, a protector, and perhaps, in time, something deeper. Her tail swished thoughtfully as she approached him. "I suppose I was wrong," she said softly. Yahaan grinned, offering her a hand. "Bow, what? About humans," she replied. "Bow, and about you." He pulled her close, careful, reverent. "Good. I'd hate to have to eat you anyway." For the first time in her life, she laughed, not a fearful, nervous laugh, but one of relief and joy. In a world that had always been wild and dangerous, she had found someone who could match her, someone who would protect her, and someone she could trust. And in the quiet aftermath of the storm, beneath the ancient trees and the endless sky, she realized that sometimes being trapped wasn't the end, it was the beginning.